Here at Kōkī, we have the intertidal zones on the right and the sandy beach on the left. People use the areas to cruise, fish, swim, dive, throw net, and much more. In between the tide pools and the beach, there is an intermittent river that runs mostly when there's big rain. The types of marine life we find around here are kupipi, vana, crabs, schooling fish, puhi, opihi, and many more. Here in Hawaii and down at Kōkī, we have mixed tides with 2 high tides and low tides. The tidal height depends on the moon phases.
The waves at Kōkī come from 2 main sources, the wind, which is the more common swells, and then real swells. The real swells come from big storms in the North Pacific that are very far away, and then the swells take a very long time to get here. Wind swells are very common swells. The wind drags the water on the surface, and eventually it starts creating white caps that eventually turn into waves the closer they get to shore.
As a wave breaks on the shoreline, it releases a burst of energy that generates local long-shore currents, which typically run parallel to the shore but can change depending on the direction and size of the swell. This contributes to long-shore drift or shifting sounds, causing the beach profile to change shape, width, and steepness throughout the year. For example, this can be seen using ArcGIS's The Way Backslider. The image on the left was taken in June of 2021 and the image on the right taken in June of 2018. Notice how the beach shape changes over time.
There's a rip current that is on both sides of Kōkī. It can be very dangerous to those that don't know how strong the currents are. There's a rip current that goes all the way around the whole beach. Surfers use this to get out of the shore, but for strangers to the ocean, it could be very deadly.
The geology of Kōkī Beach varies, with the sand portion of the beach made up of a mix of white sand and red cinder. The red cinder comes from the erosion of the nearby cinder cones, Kaiwiopele and Alau Island, as well as the Koholopo River. Kaiwiopele has cultural mo'olelo and is said to hold the bones of the goddess Pele. We examined the sand under a microscope and did an acid test to determine the sand source. We dropped acetic acid on the sand and saw a bubbling reaction indicating that the white parts of the sand are made up of biogenic materials like shells. East of the Koholopo River, the beach is made up of a gravel side grains that are mostly rocks and cinder, with a little bit of biogenic materials as shown by the acid test.
Alau Island is a bird sanctuary off the coastline of Kōkī Beach. The island is 5 acres in size and 148 feet in height. Due to the size of Alau, many different species of plants and animals are found there, such as ivas, kuaikea, no'io, and akekeke. These animals are most commonly found laying eggs in the caves and cracks of Alau. Along with the animals, native Hawaiian plants are found. The vegetation on Alau is made up primarily of coastal plants dominated by napaka or kulikuli with patches of nania. The plants and animals found on the island are closed off to humans. This site should not be bothered and should be left alone.
The Marine Science class of Hana High surveyed a 100-meter long and 17-meter wide zone while sifting and removing microplastic and macroplastics from the shoreline.
We followed NOAA's Marine Debris Monitoring and Assessment Project's Transect Survey guidelines, documenting all items over 2.5 centimeters.
Of these collections, we saw a high count of hard plastic fragments, rope, and nets.
99% of the debris was made up of plastic, 50% of that was hard plastic fragments, and around 40% was rope and nets. In addition, we also weighed the microplastics that we collected with our sifters, ending up with 2.5 pounds of microplastics.
The sandy portion that was surveyed mainly accumulates microplastic. It seems to vary depending on cycles of tides and surf.
Kōkī Beach is frequently used by some of Hawaii's critically endangered and protected species such as the Hawaiian monk seal and the honu ea.
Ingestion, along with entanglement, are considered to be the most detrimental impacts that marine debris has on wildlife.
Our next steps are to conduct more surveys of the same transect and try to determine how much marine debris accumulates more at a given time. This will help us the marine debris issue is at Kōkī, further protect our native wildlife, and keep Kōkī pristine for all visitors to enjoy. Stay tuned for more updates.
Mahalo for watching our virtual Huaka'i to Kōkī. We hope you have enjoyed it, learned something new, and will join us in showing aloha and kokua to Kōkī when you visit.